welcome back. Another computer video. At least that's what this should be. This was a package sent to me by a viewer. I don't want to use his real name, so we'll just call him Mr. Stewart. And if he wants to drop his real name in the comments, he can do that. So this package contains several different items, and one of them is something that I was actually interested in. So let's open it up and see if see what's inside. Let's see what we got in the box. Oh boy, styrofoam. Oh, I love me some styrofoam. Oh, yowza. Okay. Some free wallpaper. Wow, look at this. You weren't kidding. This thing is raunchy. Oh my god. What a... wow. Alright. Well, we're off to a running start. Okay. And you got... what do we got here? Looks like a PowerBook 5300. Yeah, it's in rough shape, huh? Alright. And we've got PowerBook G4. I don't know what I'm going to do with the G4. I already have, actually I think I have an identical version of that somewhere. What else is in here? We've got some Christmas lights. I got to get this box out of the house. I don't want my house to get rabies. All right. So this is an LCII, and it has a very interesting story behind it. And when he told me about this machine and how he acquired it, I was actually quite interested. So I'm going to read his story. This isn't his words. I'm going to read the whole thing. We were talking about, he had an LCII that he found, and he wanted to know if I was at all interested. And well, this is quite fun. So what ended up happening was this gentleman, Mr. Stewart, contacted me and said he had an LCII that he wanted to see if I could save it. And I was interested. I said, well, what do you got? So he wrote me this whole story that he wants me to actually share with my viewers, and where it came from. And then we'll crack it open and see what's inside. So here we go. We agreed on I think he gave me the machine for free, and I had to pay him shipping, which wasn't too bad. So this is what he writes. Let me see if I can find the beginning of this. Okay. I spent an hour rummaging around in the 45-degree tilted remains of a 90s elder care facility that had been abandoned since 2004, looking for salvageable equipment. This Mac literally was only in good shape because all of the roof insulation had fallen on top of the desk that it was sitting on. And then part of the roof fell on top of that, which mostly shielded it from water. There was another PC in that same room that at one point was a compact desk pro. It was rusted to the point the chassis broke in half when I picked it up. There was a hole in the roof right above it. Now that PC was ruined. I pulled a few other machines out at the same time, but once I got them back to my house, I quickly decided that only the Macintosh had any hope of being saved, since its motherboard was corrosion-free. And I pulled the CPUs and hard drives from the rest and scrapped them. It would probably be fair enough to say that ruined is subjective. And that is what he said. So this machine was actually found during an urban exploration spree. Now, I want to point out that I don't necessarily condone rummaging through abandoned buildings to take things. I don't know. It just doesn't seem. It's a gray area legally. Legally, it's a gray area because if that building is owned by an entity and that entity owns the contents, regardless of condition, it's not necessarily a great idea. But anyway, hey, whatever. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he did that because this could be a fun little adventure. Now, I want to be clear. I have no intention of keeping this machine. We're going to see what's left of it. We're going to just see. Okay, this thing is in really rough shape. Let's crack it open, shall we? thing is... Oh my god. Looks like we got something living in there. Or is that a snail? That's a snail shell. What the hell is it? Oh. Well, okay, let's take a look at it. Now, I am not plugging this in. This thing is in far worse shape than I ever thought. I was hoping the drive could be salvaged, but that got wet. That got a little too wet. All right. Wow, this thing is a nightmare. So, all the caps are bad. You can see there's corrosion under every single one of them. They're toast. So, can this board be saved? Yes, I think it can. If we all... Oh my, look at... Ugh, all right. Where do I start? So that power supply got wet. Really, really, really wet. And, is it salvageable? Why are there snail shells or seashells in here? What is that all about? Was this in the ocean? Honest to God. What the hell? Oh, man. All right. Let's take the hard drive out. See, what I thought initially, based on his description, was that I thought that this machine had been relatively preserved, but I can already tell you right off the bat, without even... Oh, yeah, look at this. Oh, man. No. Just no. No. Absolutely. NFW. That drive is toast. Look, the whole thing is gone. And too bad, too. It's a 160. That was a good-sized little drive in its day. No, I'm sorry. I don't think I can do anything with this. The board, yeah, there's corrosion on all the chips. Yeah, that's too bad. That is too bad. That is really sad. My God, why are there seashells in it? Or snails. Why are there snails in this? All right, this thing sat in a river. All right, I'm just going to call it. This thing was in a river. Even an abandoned building, that wouldn't be. Look at the underside of this. Look at this thing. No, I'm not going to save this. Oh my God. Well, it was a fun idea. And I thank you for sending it. But even the floppy drive, which is usually the floppy drives and the power supplies are the two things that you want to save from these if they're any good. And I don't think that's going to happen. The speaker's destroyed. The fan's got wildlife living in it. How about the VRAM chip? Make a great keychain. Yeah, there's just too much corrosion. I'm not even going to try to plug it in because I already know right offhand that it's not going to happen for us. The damage is too extensive. Let's take a look at the motherboard. Since I'm already here. I was hoping at least the hard drive might be somewhat salvageable, but that's not going to happen. So, I want to point something out. Now, it's not just the water leaking on a machine that can cause damage. It's actually the humidity in the air and the constant temperature changes. So let's say, all right, perfect example. This room right here is not insulated and is not sealed. You know, these windows freely allow air to pass through. But that becomes a nightmare when, let's say it's a cold, cold night. Then the morning comes and a nice warm gust of air comes through the area. What ends up happening is every surface in this room becomes covered in water. Every surface, doors, walls, windows, everything. And you just rub your hand on it and water just comes right off. That is what happens. Now, in an abandoned building, you have broken windows. And based on the shipping information, let's just say this machine did not come from the south. It came from the north. And you've got cold buildings. No one's, there's air freely passing through these buildings. The roofs are collapsing. And then a warm gust of air comes in. Everything gets wet. Everything that's exposed gets soaking wet. That's why you can't bring electronics from an ice-cold car and bring them inside and plug them in, because the warm, humid air of the inside of the house condenses on the cold surface. And that is likely what happened here. So all that cold air, all that cold northern air, froze it to death, and then a warm spell came through. And again, he said this was abandoned since 2004. It's a good long time to be exposed to the elements like that. I'm adventurous sometimes, but I'm not this adventurous. Let's take a look at the board underneath here. Yeah, the connectors are roached out. Yeah, this thing is, could it be saved? It's possible. If I popped it into an ultrasonic bath that I don't own and, said a few prayers, maybe. A little bit of, yeah, no, I'm going to call it. This thing is toast. It was a good thought, though. And I thank you for sending it. And as for the other two machines, we'll talk about those later. They have a fun story behind them as well. We'll see if they run and see what's left of them. But this poor thing, so sad. It's too bad. I almost want to see what's with that hard. I do want to see it. Let's pop the cover off. That drive it's done. So let's just see how extensive the damage is. Here we go. Here's the death toll of the bells, signifying this machine's demise. Oh, dear me. That, my friends, is what they call roached out. It is. Oh my god. This thing is trashed. Yeah, there was water dripping. Definitely. If not, I'd be shocked. But like I said, this can happen in a machine that's just sitting in an abandoned building. Just with temperature changes, that condensation gets up in there and it just destroys them. But this very likely had water dripping on it for many years to cause that kind of damage. Oh my god. I gotta get this thing out of my house. It smells so bad. And again, thank you for sharing, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But this is the worst computer I've ever seen, condition-wise. I have never seen anything this bad before. But then again, I don't do much urban exploration as much as I'd really like to. But yeah, there's not one component of this machine that I could reuse. No, not even if I tried. So, that was fun, actually. I'm glad I did that. But the real sad thing is this 160 megabyte drive in working condition is a good thing. They're nice to have, but I was hoping at least see if the drive was salvageable, I would put it in my working LC3 and we would see what was on it. That was kind of what I was hoping for, but this thing is really bad. Okay, enough of that. Well, thank you for watching, and Mr. Stewart, if you do want to share some more insight on this endeavor, that'd be awesome. In the comments box, you'll find this video. I'm going to call it something obvious, and you'll know what it is. But thank you for sending it to me. We'll see what we can do with these laptops. But right now, I've got a lot of things going on. I wasn't expecting these. I was only expecting that. So. We'll figure something out. I think I actually have a power supply for the 5300. I'll have to double check my stockpile. So, until then, folks, have a great day.